Spring Harvest is a great place for families. But for one father and son, it's in their blood. Gavin Calver and his dad Clive have been at the heart of the leadership for many years. Clive was its co-founder back in 1979.
Well, Christianity was very respectable in 1979. Nobody rocked the boat or did anything particularly dangerous. And so I started challenging people. Why don't we actually start trying to make a difference? That led to the idea, well, we need to get enough Christians together to make a difference. And that led to the dreams of Spring Harvest.
But as Spring Harvest developed and became successful, Clive's son Gavin went through a teenage rebellion.
As a teenager, the whole church thing became a bit confusing and a bit difficult. Jesus was like some kind of auntie figure, someone I knew existed but probably didn't like hanging out with. And so I just messed around a lot. I certainly rebelled as a teenager. I was banned from church at the age of 14 for 6 months. I remember at the time being delighted because even my mum couldn't make me go. And those teenage years were an interesting time of kicking against the system. And I spent 9 months messing around doing all kinds of stupid things until the day after my 18th birthday party. I'd got really close to being in real trouble. I'd been sick a lot during the night due to alcohol poisoning. I woke up the next day, I thought, this is getting silly. There's more to life than this. I tried the hedonism, the other stuff. There's more to life than this. And I surrendered my life to Jesus, knowing that following him was what I was going to do for the rest of my days.
I believe a major move of God is coming to the United Kingdom. I believe it's going to happen in my lifetime. But I also believe...
Many people seem to think that I should be disappointed about my son rebelling. Frankly, I find that difficult. If you've got a faith, then you've got to be prepared to work through the questions, the doubts, and the problems. So Gavin rebels, and I'm thinking, I need to pray harder. He's got to get through his rebellion and come out the other side, but he needs to actually ask the questions.
Today, decades later, Clive and Gavin reflect on those early years when Gavin rebelled.
Messing around didn't last too long, but it was 9 months that I'd rather not have lived.
But then you end up being the guy that you are today, and that's again, I think, what we miss out on. But when you're facing the harsh realities of life, so often it's then you find God.
Clive and Gavin can now celebrate a shared Christian faith which has stood the test of time. And they hope that same faith will impact the lives of others through Spring Harvest.
We've got thousands of people gathered, and my hope is they will have such an encounter with God this week that they will be ready to go home and transform their communities, and that within that they will be able to keep going with the Lord when it's hard and when it's great, and keep knowing that He is good and that this nation needs to hear the good message of Jesus.
Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I love to sing your praises. I'm so glad you're in my life. I'm so glad you came to save us. You came from heaven to earth to show the way. From the earth to the cross, my death to pray. From the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I love to sing your praises. I'm so glad you're in my life. I'm so glad you came to save us. You came from heaven to earth to show the way. From the earth to the cross, my death to pay. From the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I lift your name on high.
Spring Harvest features all kinds of music making, and that's good reason to tell you about one of Songs of Praise's annual competitions, the 2019 Gospel Choir of the Year.
All the entry details can be found on our website, bbc.co.uk/Songs of Praise, along with the all-important terms and conditions and privacy notice. The closing date is Sunday the 2nd of June. If you're a finalist, it's a great chance to showcase your choir, as the leader of the current winners tells us.
Here's a trophy. So please apply now. This could be your year and this could be yours this year. So don't waste any time. Apply now.
Our next hymn was first sung at Spring Harvest nearly 40 years ago. It's now one of our best known modern hymns. The theme of this year's 40th Spring Harvest is prayer. Around the site are prayer stations encouraging people to pray in creative ways. I'm joining a group learning to pray as they walk to the nearby town centre of Minehead.
So Jane, what is this prayer walking?
Well, it's really using an everyday activity like walking and using it to just talk to God while you're walking. You can, of course, prayer walk with your own needs and things that are on your heart, but you can also prayer walk in a community, as we're doing this morning, and use it as an opportunity to pray for the people, to pray for homes, to pray for businesses.
So what's happening here? Because it seems like everybody's just chatting, but people are praying.
People are praying. We'll be walking into Minehead now and praying for the things that we notice and see.
Minehead in Somerset has a population of 12,000. It relies heavily on tourism for the town to thrive.
This group is praying and they've noticed a building that's for sale. And I can't tell you exactly what they're praying, but I'm no doubt that they're praying that that building will be put to good use. You want someone to buy that building so that a new business can start or something for the whole prosperity of Minehead.
Today's prayer walking has an added benefit. We're meeting up with some of the local church leaders in Minehead itself in a demonstration of Christian unity.
It has an amazing effect both on those that are walking and on local church and community. Because at its heart, prayer walking is about blessing, about that wonderful way that Jesus has of blessing us and asking us to bless our community. It's a wonderful thing to do and a way of binding us together as church.
You're a minister in Minehead, and every year you get thousands of Christians descending on this place. That's a real blessing for you, isn't it?
It is, and Spring Harvest have always encouraged people to connect with this local community, and they've always encouraged us as churches to connect with them. And they do it well, and they do it in many different ways, and this prayer walk is just one example of that, and it's great for our community.
That spirit of Christian unity is reflected in our next hymn, which for generations has brought people of faith together in song, Amazing Grace.